Welcome to the Beer League broadcast, your go-to podcast for everything beer league hockey. Here we celebrate the unsung heroes of the hockey world, the weekend warriors, the midnight puck enthusiasts, and the locker room storytellers. Whether you're a grinder chasing the puck after a long workday, a goalie with more bruises than pride, or just a fan of beer league camaraderie, this podcast is for you. From game highlights and outrageous chirps to gear talk, post-game beers, and questionable ref calls, we're bringing you the best of the barn every week. So grab a cold one, lace them up, and join us for the behind-the-scenes look at the greatest game on earth, beer league hockey. Because here, every shift counts, even the one to the beer fridge.
All right, everyone, we are here with Nick from the BLPA, the Beer League Players Association. And I believe, Nick, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's out of the States, correct?
Well, I mean, the BLPA is worldwide at this point, but the biggest part of our base is in the States. But I live in Canada and Calgary, not too far from you guys. So
The American crossing the border the other way. You don't hear that too often. But you know what, Nick? We'll start. We got myself, Clint, Tyson, and Tyler. Tyson's fucking laying in bed for some reason. But you can go ahead. I just connected with you through Facebook there. You got quite the story, quite the ride for the last little while. I'll let you kind of dive into it, just, what you do, and then we'll kind of just go off from there, because I think it's a pretty damn cool thing that you've got going on right now.
yeah, the old elevator pitch here, eh? Yeah. Well, I don't know where. I started playing hockey when I was 30 in Oklahoma, and basically I got made to start playing because I married a Canadian, and she forced me basically. Came up to Calgary for like our first Christmas dating, and her family got me hockey gear and said, "You're going to be a hockey player." And I said, "Nope." I'm from Oklahoma, for crying out loud. So ice is not readily available there. And, but I fell in love with the sport. Tornadoes hit. My wife was like, "I'm out of here." So we moved up here, and, I'd been doing some beer league stuff back home in Oklahoma, and I was an oil and gas guy by trade. And when I moved up here, I knew the guys that ran a league up here. And so they were like, "Hey, we see what you're doing down there. Let's see if you can do that." You're growing hockey in the desert wasteland, and here in Canada, you can do it all the time. So I caught on with them, and I worked with them for 6 years, and then finally just kind of had a different vision of what I wanted to do. So, uh, 2019, late 2019, I started the BLPA, and boy, it's been a wild ride. Like we host tournaments all over the world. Like I was telling you guys, I'm going to Scandinavia here in a few weeks. We went to Japan last May. We go to Iceland. We're going back to Japan. We went to Italy in October. So we're just traveling the world and trying to experience different hockey cultures. And I guess I'm making up for lost time. All that time I wasted with football and baseball, I'm just trying to make up for it now.
So what the Beer League Player Association, BLPA, how did you come up with that? Did you have like a few guys that you knew down the States that you kind of went, "Hey, this is my pitch," or were you just like, "You know what, I'm fucking starting it and I'm running with it"?
You know what? I was telling you, I've been doing a podcast for a long time. And when I was working with the other company, I had this podcast. So I already had this following, and we had a falling out at the end of the tenure, which kind of hastened me doing my own thing. And we needed a place for all my followers to kind of like gather. And because they said they own that podcast, which was weird to me. But so I was like, well, I need a space. And it started as like the Nick and Co show or some stupid shit like that. And I can cuss here, right? This is like a locker room show.
Oh,
Okay. Hey, you got to ask.
you can give her.
Big consent guy right here. Okay. I got to have consent. So, I got to thinking, like, wouldn't it be funny if, like, how the NHL has a player association, we had a beer league players association. And so I made the name, and then it just blew up. Like, it went from having, me and, a couple hundred people that used to listen to the podcast to 5,000 people in the first 3 months. And now we're up over 27,000 people in the group. And it's basically just a bunch of us bullshitting and arguing over stupid stuff. Hockey, what's better, ranch or blue cheese? Team Ranch, by the way. And yeah, so it just kind of grew from there, and more just, my life of, traveling around the world and hosting hockey tournaments.
Did you ever think it would get to be the size it is right now? Like, did you just start just for, like, I'll say the four of us started this podcast, like, you know what, we're going to have some fucking fun with it. If it goes big or not, we don't care. It's more of our extending of the dressing room into a place where we can just fucking bullshit with each other, make fun of Tyson laying in bed, just chirp each other. Did you ever think it was going to get to the point that it is right now?
Well, I would be lying if I said yes. I mean, obviously I knew I had something because with this other company, I kind of started similar tournaments. When I moved up here, they had one in Canmore, maybe they had one in Jasper, and then I just kind of I fell in love with them and said, "Oh, I'm going to do it. Let me take them over," and I spread them all over. And so, I knew that there was something there, especially going to the States. Like, there's not as much hockey in where I'm from, the Southern United States. So to be able to introduce something like this to a lot of different people that don't have the opportunity to play like we do up here in Canada. I knew that there was something there, and then you just kind of like everyone's like, okay, so how do you differentiate yourself? And I think it's just personality and passion and what you bring to the sport. And like I said, I fell in love, and I kind of found a home with all these idiots out here in the beer league world, and just kind of grew from there. So to answer your question, no, I didn't think it would be this big, and it still amazes me every day that it keeps growing and we keep finding new people and all that.
The last question I have before I'll pass it on to the other idiots here is, do you need an assistant to help travel the world for hockey?
Well, my wife asks me that all the time, and that's what's crazy. Like, how do you stay married? And I got a 7-year-old about to be 8, and I'm like, well, I think that I'm gone so much. That's why I do stay married. I think if I was there, my wife would hate me. But yeah, I mean, obviously, as you grow, I would love to be able to hire assistants, right? But when you say, did you think it would grow? I didn't. So there wasn't the infrastructure in place to say, okay, well, let's set it up like this. So in 5 years, we can hire X amount of employees. So now we're trying to backfill that infrastructure. And, it's almost like going from, make a little money with your hobby to now you have a business, and you got to kind of focus on, what's right for the business and how do you grow it in that fashion. Right. Which it sucks because I'm just a dumb old beer leaguer. Like I have no business acumen at all, but I just kind of, you know, luck out every day and, pay myself a salary.
There's a niche, right? There's,
Sure.
even, you go down to like, we just came back from Arizona, and, you know, there's a niche there for those guys that just it's the weekend away. You got all the
Mhm.
boys in Airbnb, a bunch of debauchery, guys jumping off roofs, heckling guys on the golf course that back onto the Airbnb. And we all walk away from that going, fuck, was that a ton of fun? So you've definitely found that niche. I think it's fantastic. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you a question? Was Kane Van Gate down there?
We
You know,
didn't
Kane
see
Van Gate.
him.
Oh, you didn't see him.
We didn't see him. I'm
I
not
know that
sure.
that tournament, like I've seen it kind of grow from its infancy, and I think it started like the BHL was like his thing. Like there was a YouTube short, so I was always curious if those guys actually went to the tournament. But
Would have been awesome. I'm a big fan. Would have been really cool to meet him.
yeah, because I know Pavel. Because I know Pavel Barber's played in that thing a couple times, and so it was. I thought it was kind of one of those star-studded beer league celebrity things.
I
You know
think he
what?
was
They
gone.
might be the second weekend.
Oh, okay. I didn't know there was 2 weekends.
Yeah, the Mullet Arena one is a bit bigger of a tournament, I think, too. I think Pavel comes down because the media guy doing this tournament does all Pavel's work down there in
Oh, gotcha.
Scottsdale
Okay.
when he goes down.
Okay. Right on.
So, but I mean, great tournament either way. I don't know, Tyler. Do you want to lead off with the next batch of questions, or do you want me to just jump in here?
Yeah, we can jump in. We start with like the draft experience. That's a really cool thing. I know we went when we went down to Arizona, there was a few guys who kind of seemed like they jumped on free agent style, a couple guys from Manitoba. And I know it's a part of it, but to get a whole tournament together of draft guys, it's got to be a pretty cool idea for anyone. And tell us a little bit about that. How do they like it, and how's it all shape out?
Well, first off, I want to say you look like a hockey player that can play hockey. I don't know, I'm just looking. He got the hair.
Holy.
Listen,
His, his,
listen, he's got the hair, he's got the muzzy. Like, he looks like a hockey player, and it's important to the draft experience, right? Because like I'm not a good hockey player. Like, I started in Oklahoma, for fuck's sakes. No one taught me to skate. I just got on the ice and tried not to fall down, right? And so the thing that drew me to the draft experience is it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter where you played, who you are, as long as you're a good person, you can come play, because we create a draft that is basically players of in every round are similar skilled, right? So we might have a Tyler and a bunch of guys that are hockey player lookalikes like Tyler. No offense, Randy. Then there would be a whole round of Randys. You know what I'm saying? And
I like it.
and then we make teams by beer chugging contest, right? So that way we can kind of keep things fresh and keep things moving. But in theory, every team is of similar skill because every player in each round is a similar skill. So every team's going to have a ringer, every team's going to have a Randy, every team's going to have a mix in between, right? And so you just kind of go like that and try to have fun. And the key is that winning doesn't matter, right? Because we all make a championship game. And I say that, and loser pickles are a big deal now, because I got so tired of people saying, okay, wait a second, there's a gold medal game and a silver medal game. The gold medal game is first and second. The silver medal is third and fourth, but we lost the gold medal game. Shouldn't we win silver? I said, hey, this ain't the fucking Olympics, you know? And they said, well, we want to win something. I said, you're an adult. If you want to win a medal, win the last game. And they're on me. I'm like, okay, I'll tell you what. Here's what's going to happen. You can win something. You can win this fucking pickle. And people thought it was hilarious. So now every time you lose your championship game, we bring out a big old jar of dill pickles, and everyone grabs their pickle and they take their photos with it and move on. So, but really, it's really just a weekend of hockey for playing hockey. Like, it's not a team tournament like you're going to the boys just to wreck every other team you play. It's more just, hey, I love playing hockey. I love seeing different skill levels. I love seeing different people, and we're gonna drink some beer and play hockey.
Do you have anyone that when you get those teams made and you go on the first ice, do you find anyone that, like, Tyson would be a guy who would say, oh, I played, house league my whole life, and then goes out there and just fucking rips it up. Like, do you have any assholes that do that?
Yeah, and both ways, right? I say this all the time. We rate a scale 1 to 10, right? 1's obviously complete beginner. 10 is a NHL superstar, right? Or Sidney Crosby or whatever. An Oklahoma 6 is not the same as a Canadian 6, right? Because
girls are hockey players now.
Pardon?
It's both. Women or hockey players? Okay,
both. But we'll let women's come in. We'll let some women's come in and play sixes and above, But no. So basically, you'll have a guy that'll say, "Hey, listen, I played junior A hockey. There were so many people that were better than me, so I'm really a 6 out of 10, right? Because they've seen so much good hockey in their lifetime." But you have guys from Oklahoma who lead the beginner league in, points, and they'll come out and say, well, I'm better than everyone I play with. I'm a 6. And then you come to the draft, and obviously those 6s aren't equal. So it's not scientific, but you kind of ask a lot of questions on the front end when they register, like, where'd you play? Where are you playing now? Does your league keep stats? And then you kind of do some research. And we're not perfect. I mean, we'll get some lopsided games sometimes, but for the most part, it's pretty even.
What's one of the best tournaments you've ever put on then? Because you've done a lot. Like, off air, you kind of rattled off a whole bunch of places you're going in the next like 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have Iceland and Lake Louise coming up, and you said you're in Tampa Bay and all those places. Of the tournaments you put on, is there one that you're just like, that one stands out, or like the first one that was kind of an nervous epic fail, or you know what I mean? Is there anything that kind of sticks out?
I mean, I don't know if you guys have kids, but multiple kids, but you're trying to get me to choose between my babies and tell you which one's the best one. In my heart of hearts, I'm going to say Japan, only for the pure fact that right before I started playing hockey, I had to have an emergency appendectomy. Okay. And when I got all healed up, my wife said, "Hey, what's the deal with you in Japan?" I'm like, "I don't know. What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, they hopped you up on all those drugs, and all you talked about was going to Japan to play hockey. You don't even play hockey." And I was like, "I don't know. That's weird." And so it kind of always stuck with me. So then to make it happen and make it a reality, that's kind of a special one. Because I'm an American, Boston's a big one because I like the history of Boston, but then Lake Placid as well, because do you believe in miracles? Because we're playing on the ice that was played on. So that's a really cool one. But there's just so many, there's so many really cool spots to go to and play hockey and different cultures everywhere. Right. So I think that's kind of the key for me, but I think those would be my top 3. Iceland is pretty cool as well, just because there's only 300,000 people on that dang island. Right. So it's a crazy place. Like, you go to a bar, and I don't know if you guys know this, but you go to a bar, and if you're trying to hook up with a lady, I wouldn't, I'm a married man, but you try to hook up with someone, they got this app over there where you run your names through, because it's such a small place, and make sure you're not a close enough cousin. So you're not out there banging your first cousins, eh?
Tyson, you just found your next holiday, bud.
Hey, and we're going back in May. So Tyson, sign up, bud.
Wow, that's awesome. And I'm not always the biggest talker, kind of the boys here. I let them all ramble off before I hop in. But I guess my big question for you, Nick, is that kind of relates to what I wanted to ask you, just in the fact that Like how much is it about like a weekend with the boys, like getting away out of town and stuff versus just, the hockey side of it too? Like where do you find the balance where, ex players like myself who have played high level hockey, like how do you convince them to go out on the ice and spend all the money to go so far away?
Yeah, that's a hard one because I always say like people that have played hockey their whole life, probably not our target audience, right? Because you might not like playing with beginner hockey players, right? Because you can't go out and let her rip if you want to. It's a little harder, right? I mean, there are some tournaments where we have a higher level skill, like Boston. You got higher level players, but for the most part, it's a weekend with the boys, but you got 56 or 84 of them, right? So you're all at the rink. Like it's not like hey, we got to play all this hockey and do nothing else. Like, I mean, the locker rooms are full of beers and Pink Whitney and people doing idiot shit. We have a guy named Matthew Broderick who is a really high level hockey player, except he drinks a lot. And so he's not really skilled in the weekends because he's wearing his fucking Jofa helmet backwards with pit vipers on the ice and just letting it rip. I mean, his brother's related to Tim. He's married to Tim Hunter's daughter used to play for the Flames. And so his brother's really fucking good at hockey, but they kind of come out and they just kind of have the thing is, hey, we just want to have fun. The hockey's the hockey, but we're here to drink beer and party and have fun. And so you keep it from there. Like I said, the hockey doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Like you can win all of them, you can lose all of them, as long as you're having a good time with all the people out there. And people will leave the rink and they'll go to the bars. They'll go to we've had people in an Airbnb and they had 15 people in the Airbnb. It had people camping in tents in the backyard, and it was a fucking shit show. But I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes.
Sounds
Right.
like
So
a nice weekend.
the atmosphere piece is the huge part for you then. Hey, just go out and have fun, and it's about creating atmosphere at the rink as much as the choice to go out and do your own thing separately as well.
Well, 100%. And I mean, it's called the draft experience, right? So experience is the number one thing for us. And it starts at that draft party, right? Because you play 3 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. That's a lot of hockey. But the big thing is the draft party on Friday, where we make teams by beer chugging contests. Like it's always a wild shit show of people just letting loose. And like you said, it's that whole getting away from town. And people always say, well, bring a draft to our city. And I always say, like, cool. I will. It's cool, but it's not the same experience. Like if we do one in Calgary and I got to go, rip a few beers, and then try to get home, in one piece and then still have to do my responsibilities. It's not nearly as fun. It's not a tournament atmosphere. So you got to kind of get out there and get to where it's really all about the experience of the hockey and the drinking and ginger ale if you don't drink beer. But
Clint would have such a hard time at that, not shortening the bench halfway through the second period of a championship game.
Oh, easy now.
Absolute savage move from this weekend.
I'm all about the idea of going out and playing this dating game. I don't have a big family and a lot of cousins, so I'm excited to see how big my pool is over there. I'll be signing up for sure. Count me on.
awesome. Yeah, I actually want to make shirts for us that say, I can't be your cousin, I'm not even from here, and then wear them to the bar and see if it helps any of these guys.
That barn is not in Reykjavik is sick. I was just there in September. It's a neat arena to go. It would be a neat arena to go play in.
Which one did you go to?
Oh, it's the old wood barn. It looks like straight out of
like
the
skate
Davos
hauling
one. Yeah.
Yeah, where you walk in and it's got like all those old Jofa helmets and the lost and found. There's like 100 of them in there. Yeah, and it's not the cool ones. It's like the motorcycle helmet ones.
Oh yeah, no, it's not good stuff.
Yeah, it's not good stuff. But those guys. We went there. The first year we went there was 2022. So right when like COVID like eased off and then it jumped back up, and Iceland was like, hey, here's the deal. You can still come, but you gotta test yourself like 48 hours before you do anything. And we're like, whatever. And 4 of our people ended up testing positive, and they came in with a black bus with like blacked out windows, picked them up and took them to a random hotel. It was the weirdest thing, but those guys like brought in like a grill into the building, and they were cooking us burgers. And they said, the only way we're going to feed you is if you eat this fermented shark and Brennivin. The worst shit you'll ever have. Both of them suck. But the burgers were good. Right?
Oh,
So,
it sounds like the draft party has really kind of cracked the code of building that like camaraderie and team thing. Because I was curious about that with the draft experience. Like, how do you get sometimes you're going down and you bring a couple of guys like we did who don't know everybody, and it can be kind of hit or miss whether you build out that camaraderie and teamship over the weekend. But that draft party sounds like it cracks that right away. Like everyone's in, everyone's part of it, and it's just big party. All right, we're a team. Let's go. Like
Yeah,
that's a really cool idea.
and then I mean twofold too, because listen, I didn't grow up skating, so like when shit pops off on the ice, like you see in like rec league games, like I can't handle myself on the ice fighting, right? And so a lot of people worry about that when you go to tournaments. You see a lot of rough shit, and for the draft, not only do you build a camaraderie with your team, but also all these other guys that you're playing with. So when you're playing and you go into a corner, like you can look over and you can say, "Oh, that's Jeff. You know, I had some beers with him. He's not gonna fucking put me through the fucking moon here, right?"
Yeah,
I
that
don't
wouldn't
care
work
if I
for
hear that or
Randy.
not. I'm putting you to the fucking moon.
The better friend you are, the worse Randy
Oh,
will
well, you
ruin
know.
you.
As long as he has consent. I mean, we've had some people, you know, throw some hands at the tournament, all in fun, right? They're just buddies and like, can we do it? I'm like, hey, as long as you guys both agree and you're just, you know, you're not being fucking dicks about it. Cause that's our number one rule is don't be a dick. Right. And so, the second rule is, don't do cocaine. So,
Well, tell her you're out.
and not, listen, I don't even give a shit if you do cocaine, just don't get us in trouble. Cause we've had some situations.
No,
You know?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no one's getting anybody in trouble.
No.
Fuck off, Randy.
Well, listen, we had a situation in Canada, nonetheless, where they said some of our players lost 6 baggies of cocaine, and I don't partake, but that seems like a lot of cocaine to me. Like the Mounties came out, and it was a whole ordeal, and so, but hey,
I love how you call them the Mounties. That's
yeah.
so American of you.
Well, I mean, I'm American. I was upset because they didn't even come out in their fucking costumes and shit, but. You know, I said, hey, listen, we're playing 5 games in like 30 hours. Everyone needs a little toot maybe. So they weren't very receptive to my jokes.
Yeah, I want to end for the draft experience before we continue on. I just want to end. Can you just give us a quick rundown on registration? What some of the things we need to know for the people listening, watching, whatever they're doing there. What we need to know to sign up, register, for some of the events.
Yeah, so if you go to blpa.com, it'll show you all of them, and we're basically right now we're US heavy. I mean, we're trying to get into Canada, but the problem is here in Canada we can play hockey whenever the fuck we want. Basically, you know, we can go outside, so it's hard to say, hey, pay this premium for a tournament, but it's just like, you know, you're not getting to play with guys from South Carolina or Texas, which these are the guys that are coming to Lake Louise here in a few weeks. And it's an outdoor rink. It's covered. It's natural ice. It's zammed. It's an incredible place. But you know, if you go check them out, or, you know, even if you want to get away from Canada, come down to Savannah, Georgia, or come to Austin, Texas, or, you know, we're actually going to put one in Phoenix here next year. It sounds like we do SoCal, we do, you know, Nashville, Lake Placid. So any of those places, I mean, you can go to blpa.com and sign up, and basically all you really need to do is, you know, pay and not be a dick, and we're all good.
Do your draft experiences include hotels, or is that kind of that's all on your own?
I never wanted to dictate anyone's experience, right? Because there's some people like me that they have a Marriott. Like I'm a Marriott guy. I travel all the time. There's Hiltons, but there's people that want to do Airbnbs with their friends. So I never wanted to like lock people into what I wanted the experience to be. I kind of wanted it to be free flowing. There's a lot of tournaments out there where it's like stay and play, and they make a lot of money on the hotels. And maybe, like I said, I'm a dumbass businessman. I don't know shit. And so maybe I should be doing that, but I always thought, well, you know, let people do what they want to do, you know, just if that's how you go. And, you know, I think it'll resonate with people, and it seems to have resonated.
I'm torn on that. Like I like the fact that everything's included, so you don't have to worry about it. Cause you know, like Clint got the hockey part of it. I got the Airbnb side of the Arizona trip. And all of a sudden, you know, we're just terrible at math apparently, but now we're out that money. So, but then you go to Whitefish we're going down to Whitefish here in May, and it's, you know, it's all in one. So now the only extra cost is now food and booze. Yeah. And it's like, I like the fact that you leave it open, because I think, you know, after this Airbnb experience, and I don't know if Tyson and Tyler and Clint would agree, but that was a good time because everyone's together. Yeah. And like Tyler said, you get guys that you don't know each other, but I mean, if you're all at an Airbnb, you bond pretty quick. So I was just curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, when you do a tournament hotel, I mean, if everyone's staying there, it's kind of the same thing. Like we've shut down a lot of fucking lobbies at hotel rooms. We've had police called at hotel rooms because, it just gets a little crazy. So I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. And we have another, I mean, I know we're still talking about draft experience. We're into that, but we have something called the BLPA Worldwide. And that's where we go to the Japan or the Scandinavia, and we do handle everything, right? Like you pay one price, you get there, and basically everything but food is covered going around. Like we plan the tours, we plan the hotels, and that seemed to catch on too. Like, you know, we did in October we did Italy, and that was rad. We had a team of players. Now we got two teams going to Scandinavia. So, you know, there's we try to create something different for every type of person, right?
That makes sense, though, because I know there'd be a lot of people that would, me included. Like if I was going to Italy, I'd be like, I don't know where to even fucking start to get
Yeah,
hotels and excursions,
exactly.
that kind of thing. So I think that warrants having the one price for everything minus your extras.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just seemed to make all the sense to me. And even, you know, you go to Japan, and I was like, well, why don't we have more people coming to this draft experience in Japan? And so I was like, well, let's create this tour, because I get it, because you go over there, you don't know the language, you don't know what to expect. And Japan is fucking wild, by the way. If you've never been, it is an insane place. And I get, you know, you can kind of ease a lot of people's concerns by saying, hey, just trust me. Uh, Trust me, I'll show you how to do it. Right. And so that's kind of how we do things now.
Okay, well, you guys got any other questions on the draft experience, boys?
No, it's great.
No, we're good. So I want to jump into kind of your non-for-profit quick. I just want to touch on it. So you've got your non-for-profit Puck 10 project. Do you want to just touch on that and kind of let us know what that's all about too?
Yeah, I think I kind of got to this spot where, God, hockey's given me so much in such a short time with, you know, my salary and what I do. I mean, it's my life basically. I'm basically a professional hockey player now, boys. I don't know if you guys know that, but I get paid to play hockey. And people always in my podcast life, they'll say, why don't you be more like Spit and Chicklets, you know? And I say, well, listen, here's the deal. Like, I don't have $150 million company behind me to market me, but between Biz Nasty and Whitney and me, I'm the only one getting paid to play hockey still. So, I mean, what are you talking about? And they need to be like me.
Wow.
But no, I think that, you know, I just wanted to find a way to give back. And there's so many charities, and you never, I mean, shit, I don't want to get political, but I'm American. You see all the shit with all the money going to all these places now that they're pulling out of all these government agencies. And I was like, well, I want to make sure that if we're going to donate money, that we know where it's going. Right. And so I said, let us just create a not-for-profit. And then what we'll do is, you know, we'll have a mission, and the mission is basically just good people doing good things, right? Try to make the world a better place. That's the whole mission. Everything I do, BOPA, Puck 10 project. But the first thing we wanted to do is, you know, I'm from a non-traditional hockey market, and I've seen so many people that can't afford to play hockey. The only way I was able to play hockey is we got a team together, and they were like, okay, we bought all this equipment. Now we got to pay $5,000 to play hockey league fees. Like, that's just not feasible in Oklahoma at that time. So a bunch of people from Canada sent a bunch of equipment and some funds down to get us going that first year. And it was incredible. And so I was like, you know, I want to do something to that. So the first idea was, let's raise $50,000, and we can get $1,000 scholarship in every state to get a player on the ice that can't afford to play. And so that's kind of where it started. And our first event is this weekend. And I think math right now, we're raising $1,700 or $17,000 in the first event.
Wow. Good for you.
And so, and we were doing all this shit just in the group as a non-official thing. I mean, we had a dude, you know, rest in peace, Bruce, who ended up getting cancer. And he came to me, he would come to our tournaments. He's a great dude. And he was just telling me about the hardships, and I was just listening to him. I'm like, what can we do for this guy? And I was like, okay, let's buy a beer for Bruce. Everyone send me $5 and say, hey, I'm buying a beer for Bruce, and we'll give all that money for cancer treatments. And we raised like $6,000 over 2 days. You know, one of the guys that was near and dear to the BLPA, his sister passed away of overdose, and they just weren't in a spot to pay for a funeral. So in 24 hours, we raised enough money to pay for the funeral and give him some money to help with other things. And so I was like, we're already doing it. Like, let's make it official to where, you know, we can actually go out to the world and say, this is what we want to do. Do you want to be a part of it? And again, it just one of those things where you hope it resonates with people, and it seems to have resonated, at least for this first event. So
do you think some of that is kind of due to like the cost of hockey too? Like, are you looking at that kind of as a thing, just like the barriers to entry and the price point?
I mean, yeah, again, I don't want to get political or go socioeconomic, but I've talked to so many NHL teams, and yeah, I mean those guys want to build fans, right? And but they don't understand that the barrier to being a fan is a barrier to playing the game. And $1,000 skates, and I know you don't need $1,000 skates, but just for easy beer league math, right? $1,000 skates and $1,000 and all the other equipment, and then you got to pay league fees. I mean, shit, in Calgary, one of the leagues here is like 15 grand for a winter season. That's absolutely insane to me. And so, yeah, I mean that. How do you get kids, like, especially where I'm from, where they don't have the expendable end? Like, I can go out and play baseball. All I need is a ball and a wooden bat, and that's how I can play and get into the game. And so it's just ice time there's $450 an hour. That's a lot of money. I mean, here in Calgary, I think it's $375, but that's Canadian, of course, right? But so yeah, I mean, I think that definitely goes into it. And it's how do you find a way to help these people get on the ice? I mean, obviously I don't want to subsidize everything. Like, I think people need to, if I don't want to just give handouts to everyone, but I think there are people that are in need, and I think you can use whatever platform you have to kind of, make more hockey happen. And I think kind of feel that's my responsibility after everything that I've kind of done to this point, right?
I'll say too, I think hockey players in general are pretty humble and willing to help out, a fellow hockey player when they need it, right? Like you said, I'm sorry to hear about the guy that was playing with you who had cancer, that kind of thing. I think, from the hockey players I know, that's a great way to do that charity, because I know full well if our team in that went down to Arizona, for example, if someone said, "Hey, buy a beer for," was it Barry?
Bruce, buy a beer for Bruce.
Right. Yep. I know that it wouldn't just be a beer; it'd be, here's $50, right? Here's $100. I don't, and that's where I find the hockey players are very humble and very willing to help out each other when it comes to that point.
Yeah, well, I think that's why I fell in love with the sport, right? Because there is something different. I mean, I've spent all my life in locker rooms. Like, baseball paid for my college. Like, I played high level sports my whole life, football, and I've been in a locker room for a majority of my life. But there's nothing like a hockey locker room. There's nothing like the community that's built around the sport of hockey, and that's really what kind of cemented my love for the game. I was horrible when I started. I couldn't even stand up on ice. I came to Calgary and I was skating with 7-year-olds, and they were fucking making fun of me. And but
welcome to my life, bud. Welcome to my life.
but then you get into the community aspect of things, where it's it's just it's a special. It's so hard to explain what kind of club hockey players are in. And I think we were talking about this before. Like, in Canada, we take hockey and a lot of things for granted because there's so much of it. And it's not like that in places like Oklahoma or Topeka, Kansas, where they're fighting to keep their rink open. So,
can you touch on this event that's coming up? I know you've probably got it up on socials and the website and whatnot, but can you give a little preview of what that is, what you guys are doing, and the kind of details?
Yeah. So the first one, I mean, it's a traditional tournament. It's called the Puck Tin Bash, and it's a playoff the BLPA Bash. And so basically, what we do is BLPA. It's BLPA tournament at its core. It's a beer league, but we run it not for profit, and a lot of that is because there's so many charity tournaments out there, and I started going to a couple of them, and then you realize, like, there's one big one. And I'm not here to call out names, but and I won't say their name, but they got a ton of them, and they're very well attended. But then you start digging into it, and they're not a 501c3 charity, and then you start doing math, and they're only giving away like $8 a player, and so it's like, okay, they're actually a for-profit company that's giving back a little bit, which, okay, they're giving back something, but I always thought that was kind of a little underhanded. And so, for me, I was like, okay, well, let's just do it right. We'll set it up. And, obviously I make my money on my tournaments. So these charity tournaments, we just do them strictly for charity. And so it's a 3-game minimum, like most tournaments. And you play, you battle it out, and you have fun and try to see if you can do a lot of good there. And the teams have really responded well. Like, right now we have a fundraiser for the party locker room, right? And the tournament's what, $2,000 or whatever. So then we ask teams, like, raise money. The team that raises the most money, you get a locker room for the whole weekend, and it'll have a magic ice chest in it. And the magic of this ice chest is that I will fill it up every time it looks low. And so I think one team has raised another $2,500 right now just to kind of get that locker room all weekend. They don't have to leave. They can hang up their gear. So it's really just that. I mean, we have a lot of different plans around it. Like I want to do a golf and hockey tournament. I'd like to do a puck and ball, because I have so much time spent in baseball. A hockey player can go play softball. Softball player can't come play hockey. You know what I'm saying? So let's do something around those things. So a golf tournament would be a big hit because golf and hockey kind of go hand in hand. So
You should look into the Black Falls tournament for ball and hockey. They do a really good job up there
yeah,
playing 4 games baseball, 4 games hockey.
yeah, I've played in that, and that's kind of where it was. Like I
Right?
had such a good time. I had such a good time doing that, right? And so it's like, how do we take that into the States? And a lot of people are like, well, there's so many other people doing tournaments. Like, aren't you just a copy of this? And I'm like, well, at the end of the day, like, aren't all hockey tournaments copies of other hockey? You're copying someone who copied someone who, and you just kind of put your own flair and stuff. And I've been lucky that a lot of the stuff I do, whether it's the podcast, whether it's the tournaments, whether it's our merchandise brand, it's resonated with a lot of people. So I've kind of got this platform to kind of fall back on and do cool shit with.
Okay, you guys, Tice, you got anything you want to fire up there, buddy?
Oh, sorry, part of me is just in awe of the setup you got going over there. The microphone, the headset, and just the professionalism and the way you talk, Nick, is unbelievable. And I think just to kind of close out our charity topic thing, even as simple as us four kind of slowly getting into the podcast thing, you're nice enough to come on here and talk about your gig, what you all do and stuff. It's really appreciated, but just so cool to see a different perspective. And I think the one thing you're always kind of voicing and looping back to, in my opinion, is just the uniqueness that you try to offer to, and your willingness to expand and grow the different ideas like the multi-sport and the charity versus the profit and the local and the international tournaments, and just the variety that you've created is truly humbling.
Well, hey, thank you very much. And just so you guys know, I always get this, like, why would you go on another beer league podcast? Isn't that what you do? And it's just the same as tournaments. Like there's so much competitive shitheadedness in the thing. And it's just not really who I've ever been. Like I always wanted to help. I always wanted to kind of grow the game. And how can you grow the game if you're just competing with another pod? Like you guys you have a different experience than me. Each of you do, right? And so like I bring to my beer league podcast what I bring, you bring to what yours brings. So why wouldn't you try to help that and foster it? And it's the same with tournaments and charity tournaments. Like it's such a competitive space. Like a lot of people are looking out for number one, right? Which I get. I mean, you got to make your living and do all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like, man, there's so many hockey players and so many people that don't get to experience hockey. Like, why would you try to blackball one tournament or one sport and try to, do something like that? I never got it. So, when you guys reached out about having me on, I was super stoked because I just like more hockey shit, really.
I think
let's
that's
be honest,
fantastic.
we're all fucking beer leaguers now, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's where you're going to end up, right? I mean, even the guys that play pro, like they retire, they play beer league hockey, right? So
Tyler
And
still
I
thinks he's
think
going to
that's
be
the whole
goaltender in the
point,
shows
isn't it,
one day,
right?
but
Like,
Really hoping the
What's that, Randy?
scouts
What's
in
that?
Arizona would pick me up.
Bud, hey, they're in the stands every time, Bud. You don't even worry about it.
It's good. That's why I was playing wall ball before the finals there, Tyson. Just trying to get out there.
taking it very serious, Tyson. We
What
were
were you
all
gonna say,
taking it
Clint?
very serious. I was just saying that, like, I think that the whole concept of bringing multiple sports together, multiple people together, is kind of the reason that we got this going too. Is one, we get to sit around with 4 of us idiots and like it forces us to get together and like bullshit and have a couple beers together and sit around a room and just talk about a sport that we love to play because we all enjoy it. And two, it forces us just to sit in a room with one another and fucking book these tournaments and go down and have a blast with each other and get into some trouble. So I think there's that side of it too, where there's like almost like we just kind of started it for, we like to hang out with one another. We like the same sport. Let's do it. And I think there's definitely, when you talk about podcasting, like there's so much overlap that there's so much that we can do working together on stuff like charity events. I know we're working with another tournament coming up. We're working on doing a whole bunch of stuff for basically for their junior teams, right, Randy? And doing a
Yeah,
lot of like
yeah.
filming and stuff.
The whole tournament that we're going to is basically charity driven. He says like we're in this town, we're taking it over for a weekend. We need to give the town back what, because they're inviting us into in here. So, he has the I think it's the women's hockey team last year. He allowed them to do a 50-50 thing, and all the money went right to them. So the apparel stuff that he sells, half of it goes back. And I think you're right, Clint. It's and like we talked about before, Nick, it's such a small hockey world.
Mhm.
I don't know. I find it doesn't matter if you played pro or if you played house league. Everyone has their own experience, right? I mean, you look at the four of us, and we're just fucking dummies, right? I mean, I'm dad to Tyson's basically, and then Tyler and Clint are the drunk uncles. But there's what, almost 10 years between Tyson and I. So it's such different experiences, and I think whether it's you, whether it's other hockey podcasts, even the NHLers, right? You've got a few NHL podcasts going on with Missing Curfew and Dropping the Mitts and Spitting Chicklets. There's such different views, different whatever. I think it's great when everyone just gets together and does it, because screw the competition. I mean, you're going to get rich in your own way if that's what you want to do. I think there's never a shortage of the chirping, the bullshit, the fun. I mean, the stories that you probably have from some of these tournaments that you probably can't even say on the air, right? But those are core memories that some other guys doing their tournaments are going to be like, oh yeah, man, like it can get pretty wild, right? I think it's great.
Yeah, I tell the story. I don't even give a shit, to be honest with you.
Give her. Let's hear it.
Okay. Well,
so what's the craziest story you've had at one of your tournaments?
All right. So I actually told this story on we recorded our podcast earlier today, and I told the story. So we'll get a double banger here. We're doing a draft in Cleveland, and there was an old boy there, and he looked a lot like Tyler. He looked like a hockey player. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell the guy played, and he talked about how fucking good. That's all he talked about, was how good he was. And he was in the ring around, and he got picked last in his ring around, and that pissed him off, right? Because I'm the best fucking player here. Fuck, for whatever, right? And he said, I got the biggest fucking dick here. And like, oh fuck, I know where this is going. And we had a couple girls playing in the tournament who they were married to each other, right? And so they said, well, prove it, bud. And he pulls out his old fucking hog right there. And it's impressive. Good on him, right? Good on him, right? But then he goes, and you should see how nice my fucking butthole is. I got a fucking asshole. It's fucking, and they're like, what do you fucking bleach? Like, I bleach this shit every fucking month. And so these two chicks that are married to each other, like, all right, bud, show it, prove it. Old butthole's out, and then we're at the end of the night at this point, and he's on and on in the fucking parking lot. And we're like, hey, bud, like, don't drive. You don't need to drive. You've obviously had too many. He's like, I do whatever the fuck I want. The best player in this tournament. Fuck. He fucking hits the parking lot. Whoops. Woo, woo, woo. Cop pulls him over. Doesn't even get to play all fucking weekend. So the best player in the tournament, allegedly, he spent a whole weekend in jail because he wanted to fucking get drunk, show his donger and butthole at the tournament. And, so now I got to do a fucking PSA everything and say, listen, we're all adults. The things that are supposed to be covered, let's keep them covered. And I'm just talking about waist down, ladies, So I don't say that.
I think following that, like, to echo Tyson's thing, I think it's such a unique thing that you've created. Like, part of us doing this is I really wanted to bring the locker room to people who maybe don't have it. They play beer league, and maybe the guys aren't the greatest. Maybe they're the lone guy on the team, whatever, and they get to kind of experience the locker room and the chirps and the heckling and everything. But you've created this thing, like, if you've never played junior, if you've never played really high level, where you've got bus trips with the boys and hotel stays with the boys and all of this, you don't maybe all the time get those stories. Get to experience those crazy things and seeing people's hog and wild times in the showers. And you've kind of created a place where it doesn't really matter where you played. If you played, you can come to that tournament and you can experience like what that is. Cause to me, that was one of the greatest things of hockey, aside from all the hockey, was just those years with those boys where you just build that kind of bond and have those insane stories. And you've kind of found a way to bring that to absolutely everybody, regardless of their skill level. And I think that's super cool.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about that, but you're right. I mean, even in different sports, the bus rides with the boys are the thing, right? And I was actually thinking when we were in Italy, we're driving from Rome to Pompeii for a tour, and I just got that vibe, like, holy shit, this is fucking busting with the boys right here. You know, we got one guy's fucking flipping out because the bus driver won't let him shit in the fucking bathroom, and he's going on like, I'm gonna fucking shit on the floor if you don't live in this fucking bathroom. And we're just fucking rolling, like, and so I'm like, man, this is busting with the boys. So that's one thing about those worldwide travel tours. Like, we take a lot of buses, so it's like, okay, now we can actually really give people the whole bus experience, right? So
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Props
So
to that
Anything else,
driver,
Jay?
because that's a fine. If you shit on
Yeah.
the team bus, that is a fine. So props to that driver for understanding and
But
respecting.
I
the
mean,
rules.
but the problem is, even in a podcast today, there was a story about a chick that shit herself on the ice, right? And so it's like, when you gotta go, you gotta fucking go. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I get it's a fine, like, pay the fine. I can pay the fine, shit on the bus, or I can shit in my pants, and you guys have to fucking live with me with shitty pants. Like, what do you want to fucking do? You know?
Fair.
You know?
Fair.
I mean, I get it. I completely get it, right? I mean, I get paying the fine, but I'm not going to shit my pants just because I got to pay a fucking 6-pack or whatever the fine is, you know?
Love it.
But it sounds like, I mean, you're a goalie, so maybe you would. I don't know.
But you can't leave the paint, man. You can't leave the paint. You got to do what you got to do.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, in beer, like, maybe like in some serious hockey, but can you imagine like a goalie actually shitting himself in like an 11:45 p.m. beer league game because he's like, I can't fucking leave the paint. This game is too serious. It just blows my mind.
I've seen Randy leave the ice multiple times in a game to go shit.
Yeah.
Like, just nope, I'm out.
Nope.
Fuck, man, it takes so
Only
long.
two D men on the bench going, well, I guess you're playing with one fucking D man for a little bit, because this is happening.
Well, I mean, like I said, if you got to go, you got to go.
Oh, that's awesome. Is there anything else, Nick, you want to touch on? Is there anything that
No, I
you
mean,
Yeah,
got
I
some
just
hot
kind of want
stories
to touch on your podcast, just kind of give everybody listening just a little bit of like a background and, free shout out, kind of where you can follow and listen and check it out.
yeah, well, I mean, you can follow the BLPA basically every social media channel, Facebook, X, Instagram, even Pinterest, at the BLPA. And our podcast is called the
What the fuck are
BLPA
you
Big.
selling on Pinterest? Hold on, whoa. I
Man,
got no. As a business guy, what the hell are you selling on Pinterest?
sometimes, I mean, have you seen our jerseys?
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to pin them. You want to pin those fucking jerseys, pin them shits up and let them see them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we did a Taylor Swift theme, and you know how many fucking wives and girlfriends wanted to fucking buy the jersey or make their boys go just to get the jersey? Like, you gotta pin them, man. You gotta spread them wings.
You know what? I'm going to touch on that because I don't know if Tyler and Tyson, you've had a chance to really look at their socials. Every tournament you do has a different theme.
Yeah.
I think that's fucking fantastic. I think that's great. I think so.
Yeah.
What are the wildest jerseys you've done?
Oh fuck, bud. Let's see. Some of my favorite ones have been, we did a Lego theme, and we basically took every the NHL teams that we used, and we made their jerseys out of Legos. And the reason that theme is important to me is because we were supposed to host in a rink in LA, right outside of LAX. They called me and said, "Hey, do you want to host?" I'm like, "Yeah, hell yeah." And so I said, "But let me make sure I got the interest, and then I'll get back to you in a couple of days." And like, "Oh, the ice is yours. You're good." So I got the interest. I got back to him and like, "Oh yeah, we're all good." But then they wouldn't send me a contract. I had to fucking fly out there, and they basically screwed me. Right? They said, "Oh, sorry, we don't have the ice. It was New Year's. It's like a New Year's Eve tournament. We don't have anyone to work." Blah blah blah. So I'm sitting there like, what am I going to do? And my little kid at this point is 5 years old, and he looks at me and he goes, "Hey, Dad, there's a Legoland out in Carlsbad, and I saw online that there's a rink. Me and Mom were looking at it. So if you do the tournament there, I can go to Legoland and you can do Lego jerseys." And so we did it. And everyone loved them. And so that's kind of like a special one to me. But for me, it's like I try to do like the crazy themes. Like, I want people to see the jerseys, and even if they don't get the team they want, it's still a cool, like almost a piece of art, right? So like in Savannah, the first year we did like famous ghosts. So we had like King Boo, we had Slimer, we had Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas. And so we just we did Transformers one year, which was really fucking cool. In Japan, I'm not an anime guy, but we did Dragon Ball Z. And so like all the Japanese people over there were geeking out over our jerseys and stuff. And, people wear these out to shinny or pick up, whatever we want to call it, rat hockey, they call it in Chicago. And it's just a different, almost a conversation piece for most of these things. But yeah, they get crazy. And, when we do a plain one, like in Omaha, Nebraska, we're doing tractor theme because those fuckers fucking drive tractors around. And and so they're like, that's a little boring. And I'm like, well, shit, they can't all be, fucking, crazy psychedelic, bullshit, right? So
do you try and keep your themes to where you're playing, or is it just all over the map?
It's weird. Sometimes we do. We'll do that. Like we did Letterkenny in Oklahoma, but I know it's an Ontario thing, but it's like, okay, it's a bunch of fucking rednecks here in Oklahoma. So let's do that. I was just trying to pull up some of my jerseys here. I'm not, on the phone while you guys are talking or anything.
Don't worry. I get fucking ripped apart all the time because I'm Googling shit.
Yeah. I just wanted to see like some of these jerseys so I could think about them, because we've done so many now. Oh, here we are, 2024 jerseys here. So we did like a Marvel theme, but we did hockey. So it's like, what we got? Can you guys hear that?
Oh yeah.
Can you guys hear that?
You might have just got worse than Randy there. Randy's pretty bad for being.
Did you guys hear the music? I don't know. That was something with my phone. Okay. We did like a Marvel theme, and so we took like Deadpool and made him in the Ottawa Senators logo, and so we did some cool shit like that. We just kind of have fun with it. Like for me, it's like, I'm real big into like if I have a dream about something or it pops into my head, it's like, well, it's there for a reason. So let's try to get it out and into this space. And so, I have a lot of fun.
Your wife must just love you. Hey, middle of the night, you're just fucking popping up with a notebook, fucking writing notes in this tournament.
Talk again.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, now all my shit went gone. We're there?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're back. Okay, I just turned all my volume down.
I was gonna say, all your jerseys, Tyler, you'd be screwed. Like, I'm already not allowed at your house because we're looking at buying jerseys again. You got to get a new set of pads. I think we might both be dead.
A new set of pads come in just the day we flew out, but I got them today. Sent it to Clint. Clint immediately sends me like a Miami Vice colored jersey. I'm like, oh, looks like we need new pads. The wife was not having it.
Well, I mean, and then what you'll do, I get it. What you'll do is then you'll say, well, shit, I spent all this money on pads. I can't even pay for fucking league fees. I know how you goalies work. But
holy fuck, Tyler, he just nailed you right on the head.
But you don't want to. Tyler, do you know what Goalie Gear Sluts United is?
Yeah.
UGSU. I've had death threats from these guys, these fucking idiots, because I played a character that basically said all goalies should pay league fees, and I went on this whole fucking tangent about it. And these people are like, I'll run your fucking beer league career. And I'm like, but beer league career, like at a beer league, what are you gonna do? You're gonna come take out my fucking kneecaps? Like, it's wild how touchy goalies get about this stuff. And I'm just like, at the end of the day, like, why I'm joking around. Fuck,
Well,
yeah, I've paid him before. I've paid him before. I don't pay him in some leagues. I'm not sure where I sit on the fence on that, to be honest. I don't know.
As long as you're open, as long as you don't come in and say, I'm a fucking goalie, I deserve to get my shit paid for.
That's cool. Tyler. You know what he did in Arizona? He made guys carry his fucking equipment in the entire tournament. He goes, I'm a fucking all-star. I don't carry my own shit.
But did someone do it? Because that's the thing.
Yeah, it worked. And I was like, I'm gonna ride this out as long as
like if someone said, fuck you, bud, he probably would have carried his own shit. Like that's more on the team than it is on him. Good on him for trying and it working, but I always thought, like, when goalies go, oh, look how much I spent on pads, and then some goalie tried to go toe to toe with me and was like, oh, I spend this and I get my goalie fucking my helmet painted. And I was like, okay, if that's what we're counting, like, listen, I play 40 events a year. I go through like 10 sticks a year because airlines just fucking break shit. So I spend like $4,000 a year on sticks. So, and he's like, well, you can't count all those fucking sticks. And I'm like, then why do you need your fucking helmet painted? Like, how does that make you a better goalie? Like, you look good to give up 10 a night. Like, fuck,
Yeah, you give up like 13 a night if it wasn't painted.
So,
it's all about look good, feel good, play good.
So here was my solution, and I'm gonna get you as a goalie, because I also got a lot of hate for this, but I thought it was a good solution. Well, goalies never pay, okay? But me as a beer league player and a team captain, right? I'm paying for the goalie because I want a decent goalie and I can have competitive games. All right. So I'm paying for you expecting it to be competitive. So if it's competitive, great. But let's say we give you 5 goals a night. Every goal after 5, you give us $20 back to the team.
I like it. I brought this up before. I was like, should goaltending fees be based on how good you are?
Exactly.
Like if you're coming in and putting us at the top of the league, maybe you don't pay. If you come in and you're letting in 11 a night, you got to pony up cash. You're just one of the boys at this point. You're barely a goalie.
Holy fuck, Boyarski would be fucking bored. He wouldn't be able to play.
That's on the team. Your team sucks.
Well, that was the thing. It's like, okay, well, goalies could have to pay double the league fees. And I said, okay, we'll cap it at whatever the league fee costs. But I thought it was a good thing. And like you can probably find the reel on Facebook. Like there's like goalies just fucking losing their mind about it. I'm like, fuck, who's
You know
just
what
an
this
idea.
asshole does, Nick? He goes, I'm a goaltender. I don't play. And then he fucking plays out 89% of the time.
I'm like the second leading scorer on your team, Randy. All right. You're welcome. Thank God I play out for you.
Well, this is my
no.
chance. This is my chance to jump in here. As the only guy on the podcast who can actually play hockey, Tyler, you'd have to start an OnlyFans to outweigh your losses, I think, if you had to pay $20 every goal you let in. Because that is weak sauce. You stand
It's like $40 a night. It's like 40
I actually
bucks
think
a night.
Randy's played a couple games net in our beer league, Nick, here in Black Diamond, and I actually think he's a better goalie just strictly from mass proportions in surface area.
Wow.
Randy would owe a mortgage if that was the rule. He'd have a second mortgage on his house to pay for it.
Randy would just say, here, I'll just pay for the fucking team, the whole team. Just let me fucking play. I get it.
Jesus.
So I jumped in, like I played, like they had the Discover Hockey program. And like when I was going through all this shit and people were like, why don't you fucking be a goalie? I'm like, okay, fuck, I'll be a fucking goalie. My wife's uncle was a big time goalie. Like, my wife's cousin, his son was like out, trying out for the WHL, like going to their skates and stuff. So that they're good goalies. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And I went through this Discover Hockey program, basically all new players. The first 2 games, man, I took shutouts into the third period and I thought, well, fuck, it's so fucking easy. I found my calling. Like everyone loved me, give me fucking pats on the butt. I'm the dude in the locker room. The next 2 games, I gave up 10 and 11 goals respectively, and nobody would even fucking look at me. And I was like, okay, I get why goalies are basket cases sometimes because this fucking sucks,
Love
But
it. I love the idea. I love your idea of goalies paying. So,
well, listen, let's not get me killed. All right. I'm just floating shit, right? Just fucking, we're trying to find something here. It's not steadfast. I don't think goalies should definitely have to pay. No one fucking come over to my house with a gun. Well, it's Canada, so I don't have to worry about that. But
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So
I think that kind of wraps up what we kind of got for you. I don't have anything else on my end. I don't know if any of you guys got any other questions. Is there anything, Nick, that you want to get out or any information for anybody that's listening?
Fucking play hockey. I mean, that's basically, I guess people that are listening probably already do, but for me, the big thing, especially with the other sports is, like me, like I didn't play hockey. And so I think if I do other sports, and I expose people to hockey, then we can get more hockey players. And I think that would make the world a better place. We got all this bullshit, Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, whatever going on in Canada right now. I think if everyone just was like, you know what, let's just fucking play hockey and quit worrying about all that dumb shit, I think we'd all be fucking better off.
Is there any way that we can, the people listening or us, that we can donate to the event you got coming up?
I can send you a link to Rally Up. Obviously, it's in US dollars. So basically, you give fucking $1 US. It's like 100 Canadian right now. But I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, you guys basically paid triple to go to Phoenix. Hopefully.
Well, trust me, the credit card statement I didn't look at the entire time we were down there, and it was quite a shock when I opened her up this morning.
Well, yeah. Well, I went to like whenever I am off tournaments, I have an 8-year-old, and when he's off school, and like, what do you want to do? I want to go to fucking Disneyland, Dad. And we just went down like two weeks ago, I think, or something like that. And my wife's like, I'll pay for it. I'm like, you put your Canadian cards away. All right. We're not going to deal with that. I'll just put it on the US card, So, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I have it's called Rally Up, and it's basically just a page where we try to raise. I'll give you my direct link because I'm not even playing in the tournament because I don't feel it's fair. Like the team tournaments, I don't feel it's fair that the guy that runs the tournament plays in it, because if he wins, it's always, oh, he fucking rigged it. Right. And so I kind of sit out, but I said, I'm going to out fundraise every single one of you guys. And I think right now I'm only like $200 ahead of the second place team. So I'll give you guys my link and you guys can help me and say, hey, fuck these Americans, right? They're not coming to make us the 51st state.
All right. On that, I want to close out with, you're an American, transplanted to Canada, married a Canadian, big hockey guy now. Give us your 4 nations. Who are you cheering for? Who's winning it?
But I mean, I can't. I'm still patriotic, right? I'm still an American. I like the free healthcare. But everything else here is really expensive. That's the shitty part. I mean, I'm always going to say, I mean, we're way more patriotic than all the other countries. I'm going to say USA first. I would like to see Canada take second just because it's Canada, but here's the problem. Just like in World Juniors, I just think Canada's getting too cocky these days. You know what I'm saying? Like you've seen they kind of go down this way in the world. So I think Canada's going to have their hands full. But I mean, God, all the other countries are so good too. Like yeah, I mean, if I go on colors, I just like that blue and yellow for Sweden. And they got some cool fucking. Have you seen these goalie masks?
Yeah, have you seen Markstrom's that was supposed to be made?
No, I have not. Is it fucking sick?
It's a Viking helmet with like
Oh,
a beard under. It looks amazing.
I love it.
God.
Yeah, I think I posted a bunch of them on the BLPA I saw on Twitter, and those things are fucking. That's the one thing goalies have is they get cool fucking helmet paint jobs. You can't even fucking paint a player helmet. So
Fucking rights you can. I'm gonna fucking rock a painted helmet to hockey.
make sure it's one of them old fucking Jofa helmets that definitely if you fall down and hit your head, you're dead, but it still looks cool,
Well, we've got guys in our league that have fucking dyed their visors in Kool-Aid. I'm sure you can paint a helmet.
Have you guys, I know we're trying to leave here, I'm sorry, but have you guys seen these colored mirrored visors that are like making a comeback? Like every tournament I go to, it's
Gotti had
these
one
fucking
down in Arizona, did he not? It was like a
Yeah, they
pink
just
one, had like a reflector.
it's just so, I mean, listen, it's fucking stupid, but let everyone do what they want to do. But it's just like, holy shit, you look like a fucking tool. But
It makes me want to two-hand you right in the face and hopefully crack that visor.
I mean, I say don't be a dick, but I kind of think that there can sometimes be exceptions to that rule. And, but at the end of the day, like I have a buddy that does, like, he literally has 8 different colors and he's from Alaska. He fucking loves it. So it's like, who am I to fucking get in the way of this guy's fun? I tell him, like, you look like a fucking idiot. And like, I even did like an interview, like they were coming off the ice. They're fucking coming off the ice. And I'm asking, how many goals did you score? Everyone's telling their goals. And he comes, I go, how many? I'm looking at you. You didn't score no goals. Keep moving, So
I do have one more question for you, Nick. Just going back to the draft, how many guys do you have that do you have guys that follow you around to the States, or do you have is it pretty just it stays pretty close to those cities?
no, I mean, we do have a pretty good contingent that travels, and like I know they're expensive, whatever, $400 a tournament. And so, now we have so many of them. Like when we first started, we only had eight or 9 of them. Like we'd have guys that came to all of them. Like I think year number 3, like we had two players that came to 10 tournaments. Right. And so now that we're so spread out, now they pick and choose. And for me, I love when they follow it around, but people always say, well, how do you not get burnt out of doing this? I'm like, well, every weekend's a different team. It's not like I'm playing the same teams over and over again. Even if it would be the same guy, it would be different teams, all the time, different dynamic, different locker rooms. And so, yeah, I mean, we have a pretty good following that comes and you kind of build characters out of these people, right? Like we have my buddy Jeff Peck, who you look at the guy, you wouldn't think he's a fucking hockey player. Like he's fucking 5'10". I don't want to be 285, 300 pounds. I don't know if he's pushing 3 bills or not, but got the fucking filthiest toe drag out of, it's insane. And it's coming. Like you're like, everyone just says it's just toe dragging, but it fucking works. And we're like, why don't you do anything but toe drag? He's like, stop it. Stop it and I'll stop doing it. And okay, cool. But so we just call it, he's a ringer. Oh, that's ringer Peck. And, maybe he is, maybe he's not, but we do that. And then we have like Trash Can Dan, who's just a piece of trash. He's actually the best guy, best like people guy. Like you'd love the guy, but he's like, oh, he's a fucking piece of trash. And so you start building characters and then people come to see Trash Can Dan or Ringer Peck or best friend of the show, Mike Fox and that kind of stuff. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Hey guys, well,
I got
thank
nothing
you
else.
for coming on, Nick.
I appreciate it, man. I love talking hockey. I love talking it with
fun.
like-minded people. So
We
Well, we
got to hit
appreciate
him
you taking
with
the time.
our closing out tradition here, Clint. I'll go, you go, Tyler goes, Nick's got to hit it at the end. But everybody needs to get on a nice big fuck you, Randy.
Fuck's sake.
oh, hell yeah. I actually love this because I have some problems with a couple guys named Randy. Not you, but let's go.
Fuck
Tyson,
you,
go
Randy.
first. All right, fuck you, Randy.
Fuck you guys.
Now let me warm this motherfucker up. Fuck you, Randy.
Wow, baby.
All right.
Oh man,
Thanks,
it was
Nick.
awesome, Nick. Thank you so much, buddy.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a good one.
All right, bye-bye.
That wraps up this episode of the Beer League broadcast. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.